$3.8 billion. That's what donors have pledged to help people affected by the Syrian war. At the third International Donor Conference held in Kuwait City, governments pledged funds to relieve the suffering of millions of people uprooted from their homes. The funds will focus on developing the education and health sectors, which have been all but destroyed by the 4-year conflict. Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, who chaired the event, appealed for funds, calling what the Syrian people have endured suffering that haunts the soul. And as the war enters its 5th year, the numbers are growing. Some 12.2 million people, including 5.6 million children, now are in need of humanitarian assistance. The UN says that more than 220,000 Syrians have been killed and 1 million people injured, but those numbers are likely much higher. 2 million children are out of school, 4 out of 5 Syrians live in poverty, and the country has lost nearly 4 decades of human development, with employment at over 50% and life expectancy cut by 20 years. Many of the 3.9 million refugees now hosted in countries neighboring Syria face a daily struggle for survival, their savings long depleted. Wanted 600 million jobs. That was the message from the UN Economic and Social Council, where delegates discussed the importance of employment and decent work for sustainable development.
Well, you can't have growth without good jobs. If ordinary citizens don't have income that's associated with decent jobs, they won't have the demand, the economy won't have the demand that will sustain the economic growth. And that's why, for instance, many countries around the world are actually quite weak.
High on the Council's agenda was the importance of tackling youth unemployment, as well as the need to boost gender equality and empower employees in an increasingly global marketplace.
What we need to see, and that's what we're all here to do, is a future of work which is inclusive. That is to say, where everybody gets a chance of a job, and a decent job, not just any old job, a decent job. So we need that inclusiveness. And I think we need to make the world of work a source of greater equity and fairness in our societies.
By doing so, delegates said it would be possible to achieve poverty eradication and sustainable development, and to fulfill the objectives of the future UN Development Agenda. 400,000 landmines and explosives destroyed, 1,500 kilometers of roadways cleared. 2014 was a busy year for the United Nations Mine Action Service. However, as the UN marks this year's Mine Awareness Day, the problem of landmines continues to plague millions around the world. In 2013 alone, over 3,300 casualties from mines and explosive remnants of war were reported globally. This includes over 1,100 children. Meanwhile, a staggering 56 countries are still confirmed to be mine affected.
When explosive hazard block the way, humanitarian assistance is not delivered, displaced people cannot safely return home, children cannot go to school, development and peace-building efforts cannot be undertaken, and peacekeeping operations cannot deploy safely.
More than mines, that's this year's theme as the UN highlights its efforts to rid the planet of a whole host of explosive hazards, from landmines to cluster munitions to improvised explosive devices, hazards that impede humanitarian help from reaching those that need it most.
On this International Day, I urge member states to stay committed to the cause of mine action through financial contributions and political support. Let us recommit to working with affected states to reduce the threat of mines and explosive hazards.